Hi, this is Anthony Lawson. Welcome to another Wisdom Cast in which we try to give some practical wisdom based upon biblical principles that we can actually apply into our everyday situations. I don't care where you go, you're going to run into people. And so I want to kind of talk today about interpersonal relationships, human relationships, how we get along with other people, especially as what other people do and say impact us on a personal level. Now, I've been in the people business just about all my adult life. I've been pastoring almost 40 years, and prior to that, I worked in the public school system. In a high school, I have actually worked in 4 high schools, all of the 4 high schools in the area where I live. And in dealing with being a high school counselor and being a pastor, all of that is people business. All of those are people business. So I have to deal with people and been dealing with people. And from that, I have derived a certain amount of expertise in how to deal with people in such a fashion that it does not negatively affect me. That's why I want to share this with you today, because I hear so many people who are upset, who are angry because of what someone said about them, or the terminology that people like to use today is haters. You know, they hating on me, they plotting against me, and it makes people angry to the extent that a whole lot of people will go on social media and give a long rant that they're really talking to one person, but they'll put a post on that'll go all around the world. And I think they're hoping that this one person hears it, when they're probably more effective if they went and talked to that one person. And what they may find out is that it's not really what they think it is. But a lot of people perceive that I'm being hated against, I'm being plotted against, people talking about me in a negative fashion. And that's what I want to talk about. And so I want you to know, first of all, that sometimes God will allow a problem to solve a problem. God will let certain things happen in our environment here. He let some things happen to us because He is trying to, through that, teach us something about ourselves. And so as we deal with interpersonal relationships and people and other people and what they're doing and what they're saying, I think the first thing we got to come up with is we've got to ask ourselves the question, what kind of relationship do I have with myself? And we want to do a deep dive here and do some deep surgery, because a lot of times what we perceive others to be thinking and saying a lot of times is a preconceived heart condition that we have that makes us feel like people are plotting against us or against us. So sometimes God lets things happen in our life because He wants to solve a problem. So the first thing we need to ask as we deal with this human nature relationship thing is what kind of relationship do you have with yourself? Now that's important. What kind of relationship do you have with yourself? How do you feel about yourself? See, a lot of times we don't want to do the work that's involved in getting to the root of certain issues and certain problems. But the question is, how do I actually feel about myself? You know, what's my inner feeling? And then under that question is the question of why is what other people say about you so important to you? And you know, nobody likes to have their character assassinated, but why is it so important that it gets you bent out of shape and gets you, ready to fight, ready to argue, ready to confront somebody? Why is it so important what other people think and say about you? I want you to take a minute, just think about that when this wisdom cast is over. Why is that so important? When all the time, the real question is, how do you feel about yourself? Now, that's the real question. That's what really matters. Have you ever honestly faced your strengths and your weaknesses and your attitudes and your dispositions in an honest manner? I mean, in an honest, objective manner. Have you ever taken the time to do that? Because what it comes down to is, if you know who you are, listen to this, if you know who you are and what you are, it really doesn't matter what any other human being thinks or says about you. If you are solid and settled and satisfied with who you know you are, then it doesn't really make that much difference of what other people say. If you know who you are and what you are, and you have a vision for your own individual life, and you're confident in that vision, nothing that anybody says can stop you from being what you are striving and envision yourself to do. Nobody can stop you. The only person who can ever stop you is you. Words that people say, and even to a certain extent, things that people do, cannot stop you. But if you know who you are, you're confident and comfortable with yourself. Even when you are by yourself, you can face people with a smile because you are comfortable in your own skin, and you have no need, listen what I'm gonna say, you have no need to impress people, and you have no need for other people to judge who and what you are, because you have honestly dealt with yourself and who and what you are. And then you got to realize, and we'll get in this in other wisdom casts, that people are people. That means people are fickle. They'll change. They can be one way one day, one way the next day. And what we got to realize is, in life, you got to get to the point where you release other people. Watch this, what I'm going to say now. You got to release other people from you expecting perfection out of them. You got to release them. And what you'll find out is, when you release other people from the expectation of perfection, and then number two, you release other people from trying to be another version of you, you're going to find yourself being a whole lot happier in life. Because let me tell you, there is nobody anywhere that's like you. So you won't find you in other people. And God made nobody else like you, because if everybody was walking around like you, the world wouldn't necessarily be a better place, but it would be boring, because everybody would be like you, be the same person. So you got to release people from expecting perfection out of them, because people are people, and truthfully speaking, we ourselves are not perfect. We have imperfections. We have complexities and perplexities and different things in our own life. So we shouldn't be able to expect a great deal of perfection from other people, or to think that other people need to be more like me. People have to be who they are. People are people. So you have to release them from that expectation. And then you won't have so much confidence in another human being, and you won't be at the place where you can be easily offended or easily disappointed by what somebody else has done or is doing. So you got to understand that anytime you're faced with rudeness or criticism, ask yourself this question: does this really harm me? Now, I mean, we want to go beyond just hurt feelings, but does this really harm me? Or is this just my interpretation of this situation? Is this just the way that I am perceiving what's going on in a personal way? I'm making it personal, when really I'm going to go on and live and enjoy my life no matter what the other people say, because they don't define me, and their words won't confine me. They don't define me, and their words can't confine me and stop me from being who I'm predestined to be, or what I have envisioned for my life. You got to get a mirror sometime and talk to yourself. Just sit in the mirror, talk to yourself, and talk yourself out of being upset, of allowing yourself to be upset what other people, and you're going to find that you're going to be much happier. And another thing is, what others say has no impact on your bills. What am I saying? I'm saying those other people, they don't pay your bills. See? And true, they probably shouldn't say and talk about you, but watch this now, people are people. Let's be honest. There's some things that we do. Let's make it even personal. There's some things you do that are not perfect. So how can you expect perfection from others in areas where you grace yourself? See, because people generally are people. Well, you know, some people are just envious. They're envious and jealous. Remember this. If there's somebody that's jealous of you or envious, then they must have seen something in your life that they like, or something in your life that they want to emulate or imitate. See, they've seen something. That's why a whole lot of times imitation is the greatest form of flattery. If somebody's trying to do like you do or have what you have, that says that you must really be impressing them for them to want to be envious of you. And one translation of the Bible says that the word blessed means to be envied. A whole lot of times we won't be blessed and want to have things. And what you ought to do is come to the place where you want them for your own personal enjoyment, not to show off to other people. Just want it because you want it. But one of the definitions of being blessed is to be envied. So a lot of times we need to ask ourselves, can I really stand to be blessed? Can I stand to be blessed? Can I stand for God to expand my borders and blow me up and give me even great possessions? Because part of the cost of being blessed is you will be envied. And this will help you. If somebody's envying you or jealous of you, keep them jealous. Keep them jealous. Now, Pastor Lawson, that sounds kind of strange. You said keep them jealous. I mean, are you going to stop? Are you going to stop progressing and enjoying the blessings that God bestows upon you just because somebody doesn't like it? Use envy, negative talk that people may say about you as motivation. As motivation. Let it motivate you to go even further and do even more with the grace of God, because the things God blesses you with shows that He's a good God, He's a gracious God, He's a kind God, and He's a God that will bless you more and more and more. Check your attitude. Stop letting people upset you that you have said something about you. The people you think that are hating. Having haters is a part of it, but God said, I'll do something. He said, I'll prepare a table before you, right in the very presence of people that have tried to display themselves as your enemies. Well, that's all the time I can take right now, but we're going to continue this talking about human relations and human nature and interpersonal relationships in the next Wisdom Cast. And I want to say, if you feel the vibe, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, and then that way, and the notification bell, and every time I do one of these, you'll be notified, and you'll get a chance to get some practical wisdom for everyday situations. God bless you.